folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another awesome Legacy stream. Today's deck list is a little bit weird. So I've received a message from Lord Darkview asking if I would play a deck that had Aether Vial, Stoneforge Mystic, Recruiter of the Guard, Batterskull, Swords of Plowshares, and Palace Jailer for daily D&T. And I said yes. And then he sent me this deck list and totally punked me. Because it has all of those cards, but it is very much not what D&T is doing. So we hit a compromise in the middle and decided that I would do this for a stream, and I would just treat it as a bonus stream and let it do cutscenes this week, since I'm not actually recording a daily D&T set for this week. So tonight we are playing Cephalid Breakfast. So the idea of this deck is that you target Cephalid Illusionist a large number of times, either with Nomads in Core's ability or with Shuko. Doing so mills your entire library. You are going to return 3 Narcomoebas and use them to dread return Thassa's Oracle and win the game. That is the primary game plan of this deck. The secondary game plan is that you're just a Stone Blade deck for a lot of the post-sideboard games. You use True Name Nemesis alongside like Swords of Plowshares, Palace Jailer, Batterskull, and all that traditional stuff, and you can actually just play a pretty fair game without going and running some of these clunky-ish combo cards. This is a deck that Javier Dominguez has been working with for a long time, off and on for years. We've seen him play the deck on the Legacy Premier League, and he recently wrote an article for Hareruya, I believe, in which he talked about this deck list, and it's gotten a little bit more time in the spotlight. The same is true of most Thassa's Oracle decks, now that Breach is gone. This is kind of one of the other Compler enablers from a recent set, but it got totally overshadowed by everything else that was going on. I don't have too much else to say about this. The rest of the shell is held together by Brainstorm, Ponder, Force of Will, Daze, kind of the traditional blue stuff. There's something here that's super weird to me. This deck plays 3 Once Upon a Times, but it does not have a green source to fetch. It seems to me like 1 Tropical Island is pretty darn free in this list, but it's not there, so we'll see how many times we get stuck with a Once Upon a Time that we're going to have to like brainstorm back because we can't actually cast it. Let's just kind of jump into a league now and see how it goes. Any advice for someone who wants to start out playing Legacy? Yes. My advice is play with the intention of learning rather than with the intention of winning. Your first good chunk of time in Legacy is going to be spent making a lot of mistakes. And instead of kicking yourself for making mistakes and losing because of it, you should try to identify those mistakes and work towards not making them again. When people start playing Death and Taxes, I tell them you're probably going to like lose with the deck for the first couple of months that you play it. It's just rough. Yikes. So this is how we start this league out, huh? I have to make a choice here about whether or not I can keep this hand. I have 1 castable card, and this Ponder like has to find a white source. Or my hand is stone cold nothing. But if I do have the white source, I get Nomads in Core or Stoneforge for Shuko. Then I have Recruiter of the Guard for the other side of the combo. Yikes. I'm gonna go ahead and ship this one. I wouldn't fault someone for keeping it. Good God. I wanted to just keep a reasonable 6-card hand, but this does nothing. Yes? So keep, I put back 1 Ether Vial for sure. And then I either put back a land or an Ether Vial. Probably Island. I think I'm fine with that. So I once upon a time looking for a creature before I cast this Ether Vial. Fuck. Alright. We're about 2 minutes into the stream. Deck is already rough. Hold up, where did this Tropical Island come from? I straight up thought we did not have one of those in the deck. Do I have a display error on Moto, or did I just, like, totally miss something? Ugh. Oh, no, okay. I just totally missed it. My bad. No, 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 no. It's kind of awkward. Like, Nomads and Core and Stoneforge Mystic are the same side of the combo. I think I'm going to be taking 2 of these, though. Like, I think I take the Brainstorm and Stoneforge. It's very possible that I just try to, like, ride a Batterskull to victory rather than combo off this game. That is currently unclear to me. So I don't want the top card of my library. It's a Nomads in Core. But what I do with the rest of the turn is kind of interesting. Because I can take a Stoneforge shuffle now, get fresh cards, then Brainstorm and look, but doing so will expose my Stoneforge a little bit more to something like a Swords of Plowshares from the other side of the battlefield. There's also a world where if I Brainstorm now and hit the Illusionist, that I actually just get Shuko with Stoneforge. I don't know how I'm supposed to play this turn. I'm going to Brainstorm first. I look at 1 card I don't want, but I can still just put back double land. Ah! Those were bad. Those were really bad. Yikes. So, like, the Batterskull has to go back. Or does it? Alright, I've changed my mind. So we're going to go put back these 2. And put that on Core. We'll cast a Nomads in Core. I can now use the Stoneforge Mystic to get Shuko, assuming that we end up, like, feeding Nomads in Core to Source Plowshares, Lightning Bolt, like, whatever our opponent has going on over there in terms of interaction. and then we get like this surprise Batterskull, so it doesn't look like super threatening to our opponent. So like end of their turn, we Stoneforge for Shuko. Probably get to untap, put Batterskull in, and life's good. Uh, 1983, if you click the cards that are on screen, you can take a look at the Cardboard Live extension, and you can take a look at the whole deck list that way. The deck list is a bit weird. Ooh, no land from our opponent. Which honestly might be bad for me. It just means they're entirely full of business. Operation Put Shuko on a Batterskull is a go. I guess I don't cast that. I guess I put it in uncounterably with Stoneforge Mystic, and I'm not going to play this land. Not playing Shuko and land out this turn gets punished a little bit by Hymn to Turok, but our opponent already doesn't have third land. So hopefully this is fine. You have been punished for not removing Stoneforge Mystic. Cast Recruiter of the Guard, get Illusionist, put Illusionist in off Vial, win with Shuko. Works better if our opponent taps out. It would be a shame if you died because you killed that germ, wouldn't it? Feel like it would. Alright, we win. We did it. GG. Alright, I just want to point out that we won that game after a mold of 5. After our hand was just like garbage and full of lands. Because we just top decked a Recruiter after our opponent stumbled. Opponent, like, definitely made multiple errors that game. Like, not lightning bolting the Stoneforge on their turn was huge. choosing to drown in the lock, the germ token left them dead instead of like potentially very far. Well, not very far ahead, but like in a much better position. Okay, so now I have to decide how combo-y I want to be versus like how much of just a like Stoneblade deck I want to be. One way or another, I'm like definitely going to bring in all three of these true names. Like they will just mize victories on their own. And then I'm less sure about that. Let's see if there's a sideboard guide on the ThrabenU article. Sideboard guide. Delver decks, fair creature decks, fair non-creature decks, Eldrazi Chalice decks with creatures, stack combo decks. I guess this is a fair non-creature deck. So, true names in, jailer in, file in. For 2 nomads out, 1 once upon a time out, 2 force of will out. Enlightened Muppet, I appreciate the line of thought. What's a breakfast? So normally people eat 3 meals a day, and breakfast is the one that they eat after they wake up. That's what breakfast is. How do I evaluate hands with this deck? Oh yeah, that makes sense. It also makes sense if you don't sleep. Like, is this hand good enough because it threatens uncounterable Palace Jailer eventually? I feel like no, and that I should mulligan this. Yikes. Well, we won last time we mulled to 5, so like this has to be correct, right? I'm gonna pitch one of these lands, and after that it's way harder. It's either supposed to be the Brainstorm or the second Underground Sea. I'm going to pitch the Brainstorm. So the reason I'm going to pitch the Brainstorm is that I think I want to play the Vial on turn 1. And I think I want to Once Upon a Time before it. That's awkward. What do they take if I don't... I'm going to give them the choice here. I think they take the Once Upon a Time, but if I cast the Once Upon a Time and I take a choice creature... Ooh, they have taken my Vial. I accept this. That's a very good draw. That will insulate me from things like Hymn to Turok a little bit. So I can hit one of 2 Nomads in cores, Ponder, Cabal Therapy, not Cabal Therapy. So basically just one of 2 Nomads in cores that makes casting this Once Upon a Time this turn like really, really, really good. So I think I'm just going to pass after playing Underground Sea out, with the intention of casting Once Upon a Time in response to something like a Hymn to Turok. care? Do I care? I don't think I care. Like, it might help my opponent hit a land drop, which helps them play around the days better, but if they play around this days all game, like, it's done its job. Not the best draw. In fact, quite a bad draw. So by waiting, the days now becomes hard castable, which plays better with the Recruiter of the Guard that's in my hand. There are going to be various degrees of greed that I can have for my turn. Never mind. Goodbye, Recruiter. I'll miss you. Goodbye. We're now on the Dread Return My Recruiter plan to get a true name Nemesis. It's super awkward that I'm going to have to play out this Cavernous Souls without really knowing what creature type to put it on. Never mind. It's awkward that this telegraphs what my draw for turn was, but I think it's correct to not have to commit the Cavernous Souls to anything. Like, Merfolker Rogue for true name is good, Chlor is acceptable. Human is not out of the question. Okay. So this is the thing. So I need a second black source to cast Dread Return. I'm fine with this being a white source for Stoneforge activation reasons. Put that on Rogue. Uncounterable true name seems really good here. This league is going to be weird, folks. That is my current opinion. Like, we're just going to try to play an uncounterable true name Nemesis and put a Batterskull on it. Like, that is the plan for this league. Please don't Thoughtseize me. I will be sad. All in all, that's an acceptable draw. These two play together in a really weird way, don't they? So if my opponent Lightning Bolts Nomads in Core, I can redirect that damage to True Name Nemesis, and the damage is still coming from something they control, so I'm pretty sure my True Name would live. It is technically a combo, yes. Force, pitch, force. Okay, that's fine. What is this, like a K command? Yeah, that's fine. This Daze is dead-ish. So we will just hope to slam a Batter Skull into play next turn after drawing a land. Boo! I was supposed to go all the way. That was my plan. Correction, everything is fine. Daze would be nice there. That's okay. Opponent is basically forced into Fate Sealing to keep their Jace alive. And they put something on the bottom of my library. That's exactly what I wanted to draw. So I can attack Jace down to 3. Jace pluses to 5. It's not really profitable to try and kill the Jace, I don't think. I think I'm just gonna, like, get my opponent dead. So something we were talking about in this morning's stream was the fact that we didn't particularly think like Jace was a well-positioned card in the metagame. Or yeah. Sour Cream Stew was like, yes, thank you, but what I meant was like it wasn't dead next turn. So if it's not dead next turn guaranteed, then I don't want to mess with it. So it's kind of interesting what I do with my attack, assuming like I draw a brick. Because losing the Batter Skull would mean that an Edict effect or a Snapcaster Mage is live to kill my true name. The someone, I do not see a notification that you subbed, but I definitely see you there. So I'm not sure what's up. Thank you very much for your support, one way or another. That will hit our donation or a sub goal of the day, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that off. Exclamation mark Discord will give you our information for the Discord channel that we're going to use for the sub goal. But I can see that like you've been subscribed for 2 months, so like I'm totally getting that. Every once in a while, the notifications are wonky. This turn is weird. So I can attack with True Name, put opponent to 6. If opponent has an Edict already, they already beat me via Edict by Jace bouncing the Germ and then Edicting me. But if I equip the Batter Skull, it allows... Hey, that's the thing. Yes, there it is. Thank you. How many Edicts are they actually like playing main deck, though? Like, it's probably just Snapcaster Mages they're playing towards. I'm going to go for the equip here. So the equip plus doing 7 damage means that if my opponent is running something main deck, such as Toxic Deluge, it doesn't get to be an out towards from my true name. I think if I don't go for the equip there, like, I go for it in my next turn cycle, and I still get blown out pretty bad by the edict. By playing this in the way that I have, it plays better towards protecting my life total and gives me more time if something does go wrong. But, like, everything's definitely awkward here. Yep. So opponent had the Snapcaster already, so if I would have just attacked with True Name and then passed the turn, they would have just Jace bounced and then done the same thing. So we scored a decent amount of damage by doing what we did. But life is not good. This is a dead card because of Ashiok. That's not how tapping that works. Come on, third True Name. Do we win? Dread Return is in exile. So opponent scooped to this last time, right? So we are going to mill ourselves for some Narcomoebas here. Can't equip it instant speed, unfortunately. Find me a Narcomoeba. That's not a Narcomoeba at all. Narcomoeba. I believe you can activate the equip cost again, but it doesn't really do anything, right? So, like, equip says attached to a target creature you control, equip only as a sorcery. So I don't think there's anything that says you can't try to re-equip something that's already equipped. Like, it normally doesn't do anything, but this is different since it's a squid. Goodbye, graveyard. I'll miss you. What else you got over there? This is a lot of mana. You have like a Chandra? Gurmag Angler? Kroxa. That went in the graveyard at some point and I missed it. Yes. So we are playing against some sort of Grixis-y control deck. Playing a whole bunch of singletons like Angar's Rampage, K-Command, that sort of value-oriented stuff. I should maybe board out my Dazes since my opponent was like very insistent on playing around them all game. But I'm not going to. We did the combo in game 1. And we almost did the combo again in game 2. And by did the combo, I mean made some Narcomoebas. This seems fine. We will keep this. Don't Thoughtseize me. Alright, so we care about, like, Fatal Push. We have Cabal Therapy to fix that problem. That's fine. Opponent, I guess, can also have Surgical Extraction. Where are all my Narcomoebas at? Well, there's a Dread Return. I need this other Narcomoeba. Okay, there's the other Narcomoeba. So how much Devotion to Blue am I gonna have? I'm gonna have 2 Devotion to Blue when this is all said and done. I guess if this doesn't work, I die anyway, so like, let's not think about it too much. Womp, 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 womp. That's fine. Praise be to Thalia indeed. Thank you very much for your continued support, which is now 2 years. That's crazy. It's very surprising to me that we ended up like that I've been doing this long enough that I have people who have been subscribed for 2 years. Yeah, like it's very possible I'm supposed to just like Cabal Therapy their naming Force of Will and hardcast the Oracle the following turn. Since opponent just like didn't concede and they conceded the previous time around. But there's more things that can go wrong if I give them another turn. Right? Probably playing against a 4-color loam. Ooh. What do you do? You find the land. Oh. Cool. Cool. I mean, there are marginal differences between taking each land there. I was fine with taking the Tundra because our opponent did not have access to a wasteland at the time. That is obviously not true anymore. What's my basic distribution look like in this deck? 1 island. Cool. No planes, really? Alright, I guess we are a day's deck. That shouldn't be all that surprising to me. Yeah. The minute anyone says anything in my chat that I don't like, I ban them. That user's been around for a long time and they've never said anything in chat that I have found disruptive. I don't police usernames. So I have 2 fetch lands, so I can get Tundra over 2 turns and use that for Stoneforge. I'm thinking about whether or not I just want to like throw the Cavernous Souls away here. Then the Cavernous Souls probably gets wastelanded, and then I use a Flooded Strand later for potentially other purposes depending on what happens. I think that's better. New cat is very stupid. I expect we will have a long segment on that card on the podcast. Yeah, Turbojet Mega Christ. That's probably the reason why it's broken. That makes sense to me. So I'm like actually kind of in trouble if this germ gets answered. I dislike the timing of my fetching now that I'm thinking about it. But that's okay. Yeah, Tabitha, I'm hoping for her 5-ish streams this week. I don't remember whether or not you were around this morning when I kind of showed off the rough schedule. But we're going 2 streams a day, 1 stream each other weekday this week. Hopefully get the queue down to a slightly more reasonable size. Because recently there's been kind of a 3-ish week wait to get something on stream that you like. And I'd like to reduce that. Like, I would love if when you make a donation, your deck list ends up on stream within 2 weeks most of the time. That's not always going to be reality. And we're sending in the Batterskull. There's one thing in Graveyard that it can eat. Abrupt Decay, Stoneforge, Eat, trades with Germ, and then Life's Awkward. Don't have removal main deck. No, Nomads redirects from itself to another creature. So I don't want this in my hand. And we're probably too late for Ether Vial to, like, super do its thing. Although, like, Underground Sea is also pretty bad. Oh, so you're saying I should keep this in my hand in case I can combo off? I just win with it that way? Okay, I can see what you're going with there. I feel like this Cabal Therapy is also super bad. So let's ship Cabal Therapy C. Let's play some things for them to Wasteland, shall we? None of those cards are Illusionist. I should technically be doing some of this stuff post-combat, but I'm playing it slightly loose here. So some of my current feelings about this deck are that this deck is a lot like many of the bad combo decks that I've played on stream, in that you do something weird and quirky in game one, and then you're like, all right, we mised game one. I'm going to do something reasonable now for the post-board games. That's kind of how I feel about this deck at the moment. Just Blast Zone away my Nomads. Oh, I guess and my Vial. I guess I gave them that 2 for 1. I wasn't really thinking that the Blast Zone was going to do that. It is unclear whether or not I'm happy about this situation. So now this Thassa's Oracle is bad. What are the odds that my opponent doesn't answer a Batterskull the whole game? 0? I feel like 0. I'm in a lot of trouble. Like, my combo is bad because of Ooze, and my fair stuff is kind of bad because of Ooze. And if this is a green sun, I just have to counter it. Because that giant knight will pound me into oblivion. So this is the turn where I decide whether or not I am attempting to win this game via combo. Because if I am attempting to win via combo, I have to pitch the Brainstorm. But if I'm going to give up on the combo and, like, hope that my opponent can't beat this Batterskull, and that they don't mill a creature with Ooze, I think I need to keep the combo backdoor open. My opponent killed Nomads in Core, and Dryad Arbor is already in there, so they can already trade with Batterskull. Oh, this... Don't mistake what I meant there. Like, I meant that you go to play a reasonable and fair game for post-sideboard games, moving away from the combo, but I don't mean that that's a bad thing necessarily here. Like, I have at least some degree of respect for this deck. Like, I don't think it's all jank. Opponent says, just lost to Cephalid in the prelim, no smarter. Alright. What am I doing with my life? It's like try to find a Nomads in Core here, I guess, specifically. Oh, I did. I did. So, Lord Darkyu, conceptually, I agree with you. However, I can't do that because of Wasteland Recursion on the other side of the battlefield. So I need to just play this out, hope that my opponent doesn't Blast Zone on their turn to answer it. Because if I just hold this after I've shown it to my opponent, they wasteland my Tundra and I can't cast it, and I'm never going to get to 3 mana in all likelihood to cast Oracle and Nomads in the same turn. Felchmaster, I'm watching 2 things right now. I am watching Violet Evergarden and Kaon. Both are pretty good. Kaon is a comedy about a light music club in a high school. That's just sort of slice of life good stuff. And Violet Evergarden is sort of a militaristic, somewhat dystopian world, sort of in the middle of a kind of World War One-ish situation. But this woman fights in that war and is kind of a super soldier sort of thing. And then she ends up trying to find her place in the world after the war ends. Oh, this still works, right? Hold up. Um, um, so, Sir Jorn, for when you watch the VOD later, I'm sorry. I was talking about anime, and I was distracted, and I definitely thought this was the illusionist in my hand. Oh my god. All right. um, yeah. Yep. Streaming is hard. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. All right. Oh wait, hold on. There's a set. This is that I boarded for fair non-creature decks. I don't want to board like that. Can I still change? So this is an Eldrazi or Chalice deck with creature. Nope, I don't get to change. Rogue Judge Just watch the clip later. I'm sure someone clipped that already. So I keep this on my turn. Cast play Underground Sea. Cast Once Upon a Time. Hold priority. Brainstorm. Brainstorm back the Narcomoebas. Go through them with Once Upon a Time. This is like so sketched though. If my opponent leads on turn 1 Chalice. Ah, it has a friend. Hold priority. Cast Once Upon a Time. In response, cast Brainstorm. Alright, so we put back Narcomoeba. Narcomoeba. We want the Illusionist. Stoneforge can get Shuko for the other side of the combo. But going back to where we were at before, I majestically comboed off. Violet Evergarden is very good. If you're looking for something to watch on Netflix, I do highly recommend it. So this Stoneforge lives. Getting Shuko is sweet. I'm going to play towards that world. I think. Like, it's definitely weird. Otherwise, it's like Cavern Souls, Nomad, Encore is the other way to combo off. But I think I'm going to play towards this world. So playing towards this world potentially walks into some weird lines. But that's okay. Well, we have 5 lands in hand. That's the thing. Unless our opponent starts, like, knighting or, like, wasteland loaming, we're pretty good to just, like, hardcast a Batterskull later on this game. I haven't watched Levius. I watched Megalobox. That show is insane. That show is so good. The Wasteland Machine has arrived. So how well our opponent plays this game dictates how hard this game is. So opponent could just go for Wasteland me off of Knight, but doing so drops Bog, and Bog is really good against me. The tropical island is in my hand. Rah. Well, so much for just casting Once Upon a Time end step. Let's expose Shuko to Abrupt Decay. Nice. Very happy with that draw. Very, very, very happy with that draw. Behold my power! So this isn't nearly as good as it looks. Like, neither Reliquary can get any number of things that really mess with me right now. For example, Blast Zone messes with me on a number of different levels. Holding up Bojuka Bog messes with me. Wastelanding away my lands slowly messes with me. I'm going to pause here for like 20 seconds. Think like I'm doing something, and then let it happen. So I really hope this now incentivizes my opponent to go for another Wasteland on their turn. What sort of interactions does Shuko have in this deck? Well, it increases the power of True Name Nemesis by 1, which is pretty strong. No! But otherwise, you use it to combo with Cephalid Illusionist, and you use that to mill your entire library. So now the combo backdoor is Cavernous Souls plus Nomads. What? We'll have to get Cavernous Souls too. So the real question here is, do I like play the Cephalid Illusionist to like make my opponent live in fear of it? Or do I just play Narcomoeba? I think I need to make them play this and be in fear of it. Like, maybe try to get them to, like, Blast Zone that away over the course of 2 turns. I need to preserve my mana, because I think the way that I'm winning is getting to 5 mana and putting Batterskull on True Name Nemesis. So I wish I still had a Tundra in play, because then next turn I would have Stoneforge into Batterskull with no, like, true possibility of interruption. Ooh. So this is going to be 4 mana? Okay, that's fair. Not quite what we're looking for, Dread Return. I appreciate your enthusiasm. This is a surprising amount of text. Mm. I probably need to, like, hold this up, right? Like, these things are big and scary. I think holding that up is better than playing Narcomoeba out. Decisions are totally on my opponent at this point. I think my life is hard if they make good decisions. You're gonna elk my... Oh, you're gonna food token. That's okay. I am down with that. Alright. I don't know why I'm still allowed to have white mana, but I'm happy about it. Also, relatively speaking, okay with that land. So Oko plus is to 8, which is a super inconvenient number. Because next turn, I have 7 with True Name Batterskull, so I need to play the Narcomoeba this turn. Okay. This means that I'm dropping Cephalid Illusionist activation if I'm also putting in Batterskull. This is okay, though. Like, this turn cycle got so much harder if my opponent wastelanded me off the Tundra during their turn. So I need to respond to that by getting another land while I can still search. Garashiok resolves. You have no faith in me. It honestly just depends on how well our opponent plays. Like, the harder they go on the Wasteland plan to keep me from putting this Batterskull on True Name, the tougher my life is. My god. Are we for real right now? Wow. Okay, so my opponent has activated Oko already. So that means I can get a free chump block with this Stoneforge. And my opponent also isn't. This is so good for me. Holy shit. So, like, I block this, and I'm totally fine taking the food hit. I end up gaining 1 with this attack. And Oko is also at 7 now instead. Which means that True Name alone on Oko is lethal. 7, 14, 21. True Name is a 3-turn clock. If I attack with a Narcomoeba twice, I can reduce that clock. So let's send this at my opponent this turn. I think my opponent is new-ish to Loam. Like, Loam is really hard. There's a lot of moving parts, and we're also playing a pretty fringe deck, so our opponent might not know what we're doing. Another Oko here to Oko the Batter Skull is kind of a kick in the teeth, though. Yes, that's fine. That's totally fine. So this is 8. So what beats me? Oko Batterskull is like one of the few things that is like really going to devastate me. So I should hold up Batterskull, bounce, and put it back in with Stoneforge so I can re-equip on my turn, rather than play out another Cephalid Illusionist. Those are some very large knights. You have fought valiantly, opponent. Alright, how does this card work? Target creature you control. Okay. Alright. We have won the match. GG's, Sojourn. Hopefully the video isn't too painful for you later. I still don't believe we won game 1 by just me being an idiot. That if I didn't get the concession in that game 1, that might have taken the cake for one of the stupidest things I've ever done on stream. So, like, we take that. But I definitely thought that I could not win that second game. I think I would have lost to a more experienced pilot. Good luck, have fun. You too. I will keep this hand. It is a turn 2 goldfish. Oh man, opponent was F6 there. Delicious. Nice, Thalia. Can you follow it up with Wasteland? You can. So opponent is dead to a land currently. We're kind of dead to like a knight. Don't care about that. If you have the Source of Plowshares, you have the Source of Plowshares. But damn it, I'm gonna try. How did the Shuko fit on the squid? Like, I have questions about that. I do have to pay 1 for Dread Return. We'll mill almost all of our deck. JK, they have the swords. I don't know why it makes sense to give me another activation there. But okay. It's fine. We'll just top deck another squid. This is not the first spell this game. Hey kids, want to see someone get brainstorm locked? Man, do I know how to call them or what? So I can get rid of whatever I put 2 down with either Once Upon a Time or a Stoneforge Mystic. This is about sending a message. No, I have to expose my Tropical Wasteland here because I want to Once Upon a Time during my upkeep. Once Upon a Time during my upkeep is going to give me the best draws moving forward. And if the Trop gets Wastelanded here, then I just use Stoneforge to shuffle instead. Got that bird too. How many days? What is this? Ooze? It's probably not oof in game 1. I think this resolves. Solid Pride Mage is awkward. We will cease our attacking now. Like, we just attack into birds, opponent taps the mom. We also, I guess, can't F6 because, like, technically we have things that do stuff with Nomads in core. Yikes. Wish I could daze that. Well, they would have paid for it. I take it back. Are there creatures in graveyard? Shit, there is. So if I take 10 here, I die to Questing Beast next turn. If I take 6 here, I'm maybe not dead. I'm gonna take it all. I feel like I get the illusionist this turn and my opponent makes mistakes, or I lose. So I don't think opponent is supposed to eat with ooze here. I think they're supposed to just leave 2 activations open for my turn. All right, let's see if this works somehow. I don't think it does, but let's find out. We're gonna get a land out of our deck right now before we mill all of them. Very glad that I did that. I'm so nervous. Oh, and save targets. There's an Archimeeba. Come on back, friend. I already have 3 creatures, so you are unnecessary. Yeah, Thassa's Oracle is in the graveyard, but Dread Return isn't yet. I need Dread Return. It sure is. Dread Return. Bueller? Bueller? Is Dread Return literally the last card in our library? You saw the line, did you? You saw the line. Can't daze that. It's also an activated ability. Alright. So this is Delver Decks / Fair Creature Decks. In Swords to Plowshares, Jailer, Vile Jitte, 3 True Name Nemesis. Out, 2 Nomads, 2 Ponders, 2 Force of Will, 2 Days, 1 Cabal Therapy, 1 Once Upon a Time. That'll make sense to me. Genuine Walrus, thank you very much for following. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. Legacy Bant Spirits, when? When you PayPal me $12? We're a big fan of bribery on this channel. Otherwise, what do we have coming up this week? I made a rough schedule. So tomorrow's Mono Black, Wednesday's Nick Fit, Thursday's probably Maverick, Friday's Enchantress. Got some goodies this week. Same answer, but replace Bant Spirits with Mill Lantern Scred. Yeah, I think most of the Vile decks are pretty bad right now. I think it's a lot of work to make them work currently. It feels like a Rye stream to me. Well, shit. Let's take land. We're playing towards, like, true names and such. I am a big fan of old fashions, personally. I would have to see the Four Horsemen list. That would be one that I would have to approve. Man, it's like so sad. I put a couple of things on the no-fly list for this stream. I put Bomberman and Food Chain on the no-fly list for infinite combo reasons. It was just not fun having to actually execute that. It like took 5 minutes of clicking where I couldn't like actually really talk to chat. And I don't think I want to do that again. And then I also put Espervile in there because I don't want to play that deck under any circumstances. Costs $12 to do that sort of thing. And you'd have to build the deck list. I don't know. I feel like another $10 to have me build some like jank build like that. It would not be quick. Yeah, I kind of miss people, more generally speaking. Like, I'm obviously good because I get to, like, stream and stuff. But I definitely miss just, like, the casual get-togethers with friends and such. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think I'm going to leave this at... No, it's still punishing if I draw a true name. Yes! Oh no, opponent. Oh no. This bodes... This bodes poorly for you. Yeek! Am I just equipping it to true name now? I can ponder and Shuko if I don't. If they drew specifically Swords to Plowshares for their turn, it's better for me to move this over here. It didn't have it last turn, but like I guess we can play around it. It's not like I need to cast spells this game at this point. Opponent needs a disenchant effect that's probably not on a creature, or they're just dead. Yeah, I agree. So opponent had Leyline plus a couple of mana dorks, which I think normally is pretty good, but like Vile into Jitte into put in Evasive Flyer was a recipe for disaster. Yeah, so I have a get together with a bunch of the local nerds every week. We get together, we do like Sunday night dinner and drinks, and haven't been able to do that recently, which kind of sucks. But it's cool. The whole social distancing thing is like super important and is paying dividends. Like it's super awkward to be playing against this deck, right, Lord Darkview? Like you have to respect the whole like True Name Jitte package, which is generally speaking attacking from a very different angle from the Cephalid Breakfast portion of the deck. As far as transformational sideboards go, this one is cleaner than most of the other transformational sideboards that I've played. I really like Javier's numbers for sideboarding. Like, things are working out, so you can still basically keep 90% of the combo while boarding in a bunch of, like, bullshit that's really hard for your opponent to deal with. And I do like that about it. Nobody knows how Companion works. Or Mutate. Or which cards are in Commander and which cards are in Ikoria. Nobody understands any of that crap. Turn 1 Shuko, turn 2 combo off, win. Don't ley line me, bro. Based on what I understand of Mutate as of right now, and I'm still really shaky on some of the details, I feel like that is going to probably cause more judge calls than any other keyword mechanic I've ever played with. Okay, alright, hold on. Any other modern mechanic. Banding is dumb, right? Alright. Sorry, friend, you're dead. I said always yes to you. See, this is like so much more pleasant than comboing off with Food Chain by like a lot. You get to auto yield to everything. You don't actually need to think about it. You just click for a little while, and it's all good. All right, Cabal Therapy, target me, sacrificing one Narcomoeba. We will name Thassa's Oracle. Put Thassa's Oracle into our graveyard. GG's. Yeah, I think that was our opponent just making sure that we didn't have multiple combo pieces stuck in hand. Yeah, fine and Andy. I'm checking in more than normal with my own family as well. You know, I'm normally call every about week and a half to 2 weeks sort of person, and now it's a little more than once a week. A booze mongoose, you say? This hand can't be bad. Get to Once Upon a Time for another land or combo piece. Cast an Ether Vial as well on turn 1 with Daze and Force as backup pieces. Alright, the squid is out of the bag, ladies and gentlemen. Basic Island, Basic Island. Welcome to the power that is Spring Break. This is the only day I'm expecting to do this week. But who knows what happens. There might be some afternoon where I'm like, you know, I'm not really feeling Okami right now. I just wanna jam some Answered Legacy deck name right now. That's a weird brainstorm. That's a real weird brainstorm. I'm not sure what that's supposed to tell me. My hand's pretty awkward as of right now. Like, I can cast Stoneforge this turn. No, I guess it's not as bad as I think. Let's just do this. Okay, like, in case my opponent is a combo deck, which the Brainstorm could be indicative of, I feel like I have to cast the Stoneforge there, and I just, like, can't sit back on that. Nope! Fight! And we win. Hey, we did the thing. I like doing the thing. Sneak and Show / Doomsday. In Force, Thoughtseize, a second Thassa's Oracle, and a Palace Jailer. Out, Recruiter of the Guard, 2 Stoneforge Mystic, a Batterskull, and an Ether Vial. Cast this for free, try to find nomads. Sure. I like Splinter Twin from Modern. That was the combo deck that I enjoyed the most out of like any format ever. I loved Twin. That was everything that I wanted about Magic. I probably want to ponder this turn if I don't hit nomads. Which I did not. I'll happily take a Cowardice Souls, I think. Find me a nomad. Not a nomad, but Force is interesting. I feel like since my opponent is blue-green Omni, they will beat through counterspells eventually. So I should probably aggressively dig for the combo. And like if I take the Force of Will, I either have to pitch a Cephalid Illusionist to it, or keep the Ponder that's on top of my library and not cast it. Either way, I don't necessarily like that. Alright, I'll bite. What is Prose Bloom? I'm not sure that I'm familiar with that. Oh, Prosperity Cadaverous Bloom. Okay, yep. Fine and Andy. There are still decks that occasionally play the, like, draw 4s. So we got these Thassa's oracles here. Like, straight up, what does this card actually do? So I can just use this to pseudo scry. Heh. I think I need to pitch one of these to Force a Will, and then actually cast the other to win the game. So I'm not going to play one out. So real talk, maybe I stop attacking because of Ice Fang Coatl. How scared is too scared? And did my opponent board out Ice Fangs? These lands, though. Hashtag no fear. Come on! I said hashtag no fear. That's not allowed. Doesn't even need Death Touch. Hold up. Hold up. No, it taps to prevent the damage. So I guess my opponent... so that probably means they don't have the Show and Tell. Otherwise, they would just, like, Show and Tell Mystic Sanctuary, try again the following turn. I don't want to keep playing permanents. Like, I don't want to play cards. You get your Cunning Wish, but it can probably very awkwardly get a piece of protection for you. Oh no, it's just Return to Nature. That's fine. We let that happen. There is a lot of patience on my opponent's end in all likelihood here. If I play another land, I can force a will around Spell Pierce without pitching. Also, I don't remember if I could have used Illusionist's ability on Ice Fang Coatl on my turn, on their turn. So apologies if I missed that. Actually, I probably shouldn't be doing that because, like, it drops my Force of Will through Spell Pierce mana. And, like, it makes it so that if my opponent casts a second main phase Show and Tell, I can't fight over it as well. Yeah, I'm just gonna let that happen. Good, these lands, though. So what goes back if I cast Brainstorm? 1 Oracle and Dread Return go back. So I can still just play out another land. Oh wait, so this works the opposite way, I think. So prevent all damage that we dealt to invite target creature you control this turn. So since this doesn't have flying, I can't block that. Ignore everything I've said about Cephalid Illusionist preventing damage over the last couple of turns. A Show and Tell, huh? Force Pitch Omniscience. All right. What are you bringing to class? And what am I bringing to class? I guess I need to try to combo off, assuming I'm not dead. That's thin. An Emrakul attack kills me anyway. My chat's a pretty good chat as far as all Twitch chats are concerned. I will put a Ponder on top of my library. Cunning Wish smells like I'm dead. Cunning Wish gets Aldemar Carl. Aldemar's Carl gets Emrakul. Emrakul is lethal. I do not have a flyer. This doesn't fly, does it? No, Merfolk does not fly. Confirmed. Yeah, I've been so happy with Eternal Glory thus far. It's only going to get better as our like chemistry improves and we get better at like making transitions off of each other and whatnot. But for a podcast, that's what, 3 episodes in now, I think. I think we're doing great work. Is this good? No, I'm gonna keep this hand. We'll see how it plays out. I should have just played my Tundra there, but whatever. you will brainstorm. Oh, well, congrats on finishing your deck. You know, hopefully in the next month or so, it gets to the point where, oh, we did it. This is what it's like to play a combo deck and just finish your rounds, huh? Feels pretty good. Yeah, anyway, Nevirtiv. Hopefully in the next month or so you actually get to play in a paper event. It's going to take a little while to, like, go and make it so that everyone is, like, safe going out and doing large gatherings again. But, you know, hopefully in 1 to 2 months we can start looking at some major paper events again. I think we'll all be ready for it when it finally happens. Yeah, I've already made the offer to Brian that if he ever wants to do a piece of collaborative content with Chalice, like, I would be very happy to go and do so with him. Yeah. All right. I'm going to take 30 seconds and run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Rather than going to my Be Right Back screen, I'm just going to throw my rough schedule up here for you. Yeah, I mean, when I think of Brian, I think of him as being like one of the quintessential like blue mages of the Legacy format, right? Like he's put up super impressive results at like the Eternal Weekend type events. But he also was it one question mark modern Grand Prix playing a Urza deck, so like it's not super surprising to see that he would be drawn to some of those like Urza, Chalice, Emery sort of decks in Legacy. Come on, Squid! It's not a squid at all. I have 2 lands already. Ponder hopefully finds me a squid. I think I take the Stoneforge here. It's something to dump in off of the Ether Vial. Let's expose the Trop to Wasteland. I know I only have 1 of them, but I've already cast 1 of my 3 Once Upon a Times here. Force Pitch Ponder. That's okay. So we're going to look like Bant Stoneblade at first. Until we don't. Delicious. Like, what do I do now? Or just play the squid into whatever they got going on, and if they don't do anything about it, I just win? Alternatively, I can just, like, ponder this turn, try to find... Force of Will is a bad example. Try to find Daze, play Nomads this turn, go for Cephalid Illusionist next turn. I think I like that better. Because I have 3 more nomads plus... yes, the days. The days is, like, literally exactly what I asked for. Thank you. So put brainstorm on bottom... well, yes. Yes, brainstorm on bottom. Then land. Then days. Shuffle. No. I guess we only want the days out of that, so it's fine. Tundra. Nomad. The Nomad probably resolves. Like, I'll fight over it, I think, if my opponent casts something. It's weirder if my opponent bolts. I still think I fight. I don't know how many pieces of interaction my opponent has over there. Like, I don't know if they're a Delver deck that have, like, Force of Will plus Force of Negation plus Pierce. Like, this could be Rug Delver. In which case, my opponent is going to die unless they have Daze or Force of Will. Force of Negation won't do it. Yeah, let's fight. Oh, why would you do that to me? They have 3 cards. Fuck it. Make them have it. They had it. I regret nothing. So the thing here is that, like, I still have Stoneforge Batter's Claw as the backup plan. And I can still just top deck another Squid and go off again. As long as this Nomad sits on the table, my opponent has to respect the fact that they can just die. So I don't think they can ponder for another threat. They have to be pondering for, like, Wasteland, Bolt, or a counterspell. The Bolt is maybe not good enough on this turn. They returned Trop before, so they'd have to have another land in their 2 cards from in hand from last turn, plus draw from this turn, plus ponder. Yeah, so like that's a great thing to take off a ponder. Specifically, it stops me from casting an Illusionist and a Stoneforge, which is very strong. And now the Tarmogoyf looks like a real threat. HC Fox, but what about, like, the Squidbillies? Or the things from Splatoon? I feel like you have options. So I feel like your statement is a little narrow-minded. Like, is a Cthulhu cosplay fine? I feel like that's fine flavorfully. Hey, Jim, you're in time for round 5, but you'll be able to catch the rest of the VOD when I'm done. It's been weird. So I name a wizard because that's a shared creature type in my deck. And we are playing towards the top card of our library being Illusionist. I don't know, I feel like a lot of the squid-flavored things end up being at least somewhat fragrant, right? I don't know that's the best around your legacy cards. I got some squid chips a while back from the Asian grocery store. I regret that. They did not taste good. But they smelled as well, in addition to tasting bad. All in all, not worth it. So these delicious little individually packaged gummies are so cute and delicious. I have mixed feelings on them because they're individually packaged, which is like a waste of resources. But it also means that you eat a reasonable person sample size. So, winning? I don't know. Bolt me. All right, Javier, what do I do against Delver? In 4 Swords of Plowshares. 3 True Name Nemesis. Not the Force of Will. Get out. 3 True Name Nemesis. 1 Jitte. 1 Vial, 1 Jailer. 10 cards in. What's coming out? Ponder, Ponder. Nomads. Force of Will. Days. Cabal Therapy. And a Once Upon a Time. Makes sense to me. We get a lot better at, like, answering permanents. We get slightly better at being uncounterable, and we get True Name. And we all know what True Name does to games. I'm not going to encourage you to run to the store just for gummies. You know, under normal circumstances, yeah. But, you know, running out, picking up germs, spreading germs right now just for a delicious gummy treat seems like a questionable line. Raid your pantry, figure out what snacks you have, formulate a game plan, eat accordingly. Is this hand good? So is Cabal Therapy's dead right now? So I kind of feel like I die if I keep this hand. Like, I feel like this Tundra just gets wastelanded at some point in the game, and then I'm, like, super mega ultimate boned. But I have 2 uncounterable Nomads, and Stoneforge Mystic will also be uncounterable, and I have Ponder. This hand's really hard. I think I ship it. If I keep this, I think I have to play Ponder on turn 1, and then I open myself up to being wastelanded and die. I'm going to ship this hand. Whereas I like this hand. So I want the Cabal Therapy in the deck for combo purposes. So I'm not trying to use that fairly in this match. If our opponent is playing something like a Null Rod in the sideboard, I'm just saying it would be devastating. No shuffle with Ponder. Hello. I want that squid, I don't want the other two. I'm going to play another Vial here. And we're going to play towards playing Shuko and putting in Illusionist both next turn. Ooh, an Underground Sea. I mean, I like this exchange. So my opponent's actually 4-color Delver, not Rogue Delver. So that means I need to be aware of Collector Ouphe. Show me a counterspell. I feel like you have to counter this because otherwise I'm representing a whole combo. Like if Nomad's in core with my draw for turn, my opponent dies for not countering that. So I'd say there's about a 50% chance. No, I'd say there's about a 60 to 70% chance that my opponent doesn't have any counter magic, and a 20 to 30% chance that they just didn't realize they would have died if I had Nomads. Like when I'm playing a deck as fringe as this one, I don't assume that my opponents know what all of my cards do and how they work and interact. That's super sad. Goodbye, Shuko. I think I still tick Vial up to work towards Jailer. My opponent's providing no pressure at this time. What? I see. Thank you for clearing those 3 lands off the top of my deck, though. Good God. Yeah, their turn makes sense now. It just didn't before. Okay, I need to play Shuko out here. Because if I draw a land, then I have Recruiter into Cephalid into combo off. Is your mana so tight that you need to end a turn brainstorm like that? I don't know. I don't have the actual answer to that. Are you just gonna like Jace me or something? Rough. Goodbye, Recruiter. I'll miss you. Goodbye. That is a nuisance. This I accept. Like, it obviously makes the Palace Jailer in my hand very awkward, but I get to equip Shuko to it, so it's a big elf. Elka. Yeah, I know. When we hit them with our back to basics, it'll do things. Well, that was what we wanted not to happen. JK, everything's fine. I lose it if their last card is Spell Pierce. Okay. Opponent's at 19, which is pretty rough, and they have more life queued up. Comboing off is moderately difficult with a Shuko. No, the Shukos don't play. With 2 Illusionists gone, like I have a 2 of to dig towards +2 question mark Recruiter of the Guards. 1 Recruiter of the Guard. Rip another Swords to Plowshares. Let's go. That's okay. The Palace Jailer still represents a problem in the future for our opponent. And we're not actually losing the race by all that much if our opponent only has this 1 threat. Like, they attack for 6, I attack for 4 back. Like, we're losing the race, obviously, but we can keep ground. I'm going to put back Nomads Once Upon a Time. Cast Swords to Plowshares on this Tar Midwife. It's possible. I probably should have waited till their upkeep in case they had a hard cast Force of Will. Or like Force of Negation or something. And then I'm going to have to think about whether or not I want to keep this Once Upon a Time. I see now it's Lightning Bolt. I think I just want to draw a land and cast Palace Jailer on an empty board. It is absolutely a mistake to crack that food, in my opinion. Like, assuming my opponent has another Oko in their deck. Like, you want to be able to create the 3/3 the turn it comes down. It's very possible that I'm wrong about this Once Upon a Time and I should just take it. But Palace Jailer, or I'll take that as a draw as well. Palace Jailer on an empty board is just sick. Choose you. Shuko, get in there. It's slightly awkward since we've given our opponent 10 life off of Swords to Plowshares, but it is what it is. And I think I still attempt the Palace Jailer. Like, it's very likely that our opponent has counterspells, but if this trades for a counterspell so that something else resolves later, I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, like, totally happy with this exchange, given circumstances. Like, a squid means that we combo off and win at any time. That's also absurd. So, like, casting that Jailer last turn so that this Stoneforge can potentially resolve is such big game. Ooh, Batterskull or Jitte? I think it's Jitte. If opponent finds a Lightning Bolt for the Stoneforge, the Jitte is still hard castable and the Batterskull isn't. And Jitte gives additional power to the True Name Nemesis in case that's relevant. Lol. Opponent is representing that they have an answer to this by playing out that Delver, but I'm 100% calling since I drew that other Stoneforge. And this is going to sound absurd to say, but, like, I'm kind of glad the Jitte has died, because, like, that means a Cephalid Illusionist off the top. is still representing combo lethal, and Shuko still means that we have our opponent on a 2-turn clock. We also have our opponent on a 2-turn clock where we get a Batterskull next turn. Alright, opponent sends it all in. That's fine. Holy crap. This is gonna be like the next level bullshit right here. I'm in love with this. It's like I'm gonna cast this Stoneforge, fail to find, pass the turn, then put in Batterskull, eat a food mid-combat. Oh, I don't even think I killed their Oko. Like, given how this turn plays out. So you gotta lay this one on thick, though. So I've gotta search, and then, like, pause. Like, oh god, I don't have an equipment to search for. I've boarded it out. No. That's interesting. Yes! Yes! Da 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 da. That was a great game of Magic. I enjoyed that a lot. Oh man, Potentia, welcome. Glad to see you here. I like the parts where I got super lucky and top deck Swords to Plowshares to deal with 2 back-to-back Tarmogoyfs. I really liked that part. That left me not dead. Shuko, man. Shuko made the math work out. Oh. Alright. I'm cutting myself off at 2 delicious Japanese gummies. This hand has 2 cards in it that I don't want to have in my hand. It has an Uncounterable Illusionist, a way to kill a first creature, but I'm going to ship it. This hand is much better, I think. I think Once Upon a Time is just finding me a land. I like all the cards in my hand. I think Brainstorm is the worst card in my hand. It's super weird to say that, but I think it's true. Like, all I want to do is hit land drops and cast the cards that are in my hand. I mostly don't want my opponent to Thoughtseize me because I don't want them to be able to, like, sequence their entire game around what I have. Fuck, come on! We have a long discussion about whether or not I'm supposed to cast that Once Upon a Time before the Thoughtseize resolves to find a third land. If they take the Once Upon a Time, then they have Wasteland, and I feel super bad. Okay, great. Fine and Andy, my plan is to always talk about my best plays and my opponent's best plays, so that I look like a genius no matter what. It's the secret. Okay, so you remember that part about me saying this was a fair hand? Fuck that. Let's go. Alright, opponent, I know what's going on here. You know what's going on here. You don't know that I drew that Cephalid Illusionist, and that is going to be uncounterable on my turn. So if you would tap out for a Tarmogoyf, I would appreciate that greatly. HC Fox, you're fired. That's good. No, my plan is to cast the Cephalid Illusionist uncounterably if my opponent taps out. Nice. We probably win. Surgical Extraction or like Foster Will or Daze can potentially stop us, but like we're going for it. And we're off. Yes, force check has indeed been called. Alright, I'm gonna get all these Nomad in core triggers off of my screen. Because apparently I still have to click yes to that. I thought I've always yielded. Alright, there we go. That's better. So I don't have a Narcomoeba in hand. I can choose to Cabal Therapy now and name one of... Okay, they don't have anything. The spot was interesting, though. So, to just finish saying what I was going to say, since I did something uncounterably there, I probably use my one Cabal therapy and name one of Force of Will, Daze, or Surgical Extraction to just like see if the coast is clear. And I had like half my library left, so if I realized like the coast wasn't clear and I couldn't actually combo off, then I slow my roll and try to play a True Name Nemesis, um, True Name Nemesis game until I can combo off safely. Yeah. Okay, thoughts on the deck. Any hand where you have Cephalid Illusionist and the ability to just go for it feels pretty good. Like, the combo is very fast. Like, turn 1, Nomad or Shuko, turn 2, Illusionist. It's just a 2-card combo that wins on turn 2, assuming your opponent does not interact with it. And that is faster than most Legacy combo decks. And you also get to staple it together with like Brainstorm, Ponder, Stoneforge, Once Upon a Time, Recruiter to give you some degree of redundancy. I don't think the main deck strategy is competitive in most post-sideboard games, but the sideboard package that's here of like the just pile of True Name Nemesis is pretty good at just like giving you some other bullshit that your opponent has to respect. And like this deck is hard to sideboard against. So definitely have a positive impression of this deck list. Javier obviously speaks very highly of it, and so every time that I've been talking about him in this league, I've been referring to this article that he wrote from 2 weeks, no, a little over a week ago now, I guess. And he talks about like the origin of the deck, how it works, like your various like sideboarding guides. It's a decent sized article. Like there's a good amount of text here. So it's the sort of thing like you might skim over it the first time, and then if you're actually going to sit down and play the deck, you might just want to have this open. I'm going to just go ahead and copy this and throw that into the stream for you all, in case you get inspired and you want to try this same thing like I just did. I don't think I'd make any changes to the deck if I were going to play it again. Like, the numbers felt very good for sideboarding. Like, you could make arguments that, like, you want a 4th True Name Nemesis for the board because that card's so good. Like, you could make arguments that, like, hey, should one of the Once Upon a Times in the main deck be, like, a Preordain or something like that? But I really feel like the deck list is pretty good as is. For anyone who watched the very beginning of the stream, at the beginning I thought there wasn't a trap in this deck. I was wrong. I just, like, totally looked over it, or, like, I had moved it into a different place so it wasn't in alphabetical order or something like that, and I just totally missed it. But there is a trap there for the Once Upon a Times. Yeah, but all in all, feel pretty good about this. Like, Cabal Therapy bails you out of some of your clunker situations where, like, you've drawn a Dread Return, your Oracle, one of your Narcomoebas or something like that, and you need to get it out of hand. I don't think I ever cast a fair Cabal Therapy this game. It was always unfair Cabal Therapies. So if you're curious about like why that's a 2 of, you really only want it when you're already comboing off and you need to get yourself out of a bad situation. I think the Once Upon a Times were actually really good. Like, when those were in the opening hand, and you just, like, get 5 looks for an Illusionist, that's so powerful. I don't expect that this deck ever gets anything like Illusionist that, like, combos with Shuko and Nomads in core in, like, quite that same way. So, like, I wouldn't expect huge improvements to this deck moving forward, but this deck is doing some super, super cool things. I hope you all enjoyed this. I certainly did. All right, who are we hosting? Eternal Magic BR? I don't know who they are, but let's host them. Folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you do, please consider subscribing to the channel, following, or doing a donation deck list to do something to support my content. Oh boy, did I ever hardcast a black spell? Did I hardcast a Dread Return at one point? I feel like I hardcast a Dread Return at one point, or at least was thinking about it. It's a Brazilian streamer. Ooh, well that I guess is sort of awkward. Then BR, yeah, okay, all right, makes sense. Most of you probably understand English, but who knows how your Portuguese is. Spanish, question mark, I guess, depending on where you're at exactly. How many is a Brazilian? So you know how you have to click on Shuko and target Cephalid Illusionist and you do it a bunch? I believe that is a Brazilian. Not 100% though. Alright, let's just host Yama Killer then. I think this is the second time that I've raided them today. Alright, folks, I will be back tomorrow morning. I hope you all enjoyed. Very happy we put up with the 4-1 with Cephalid Breakfast. I certainly made some mistakes along the way, but we had a lot of fun. Cheers, have a great rest of the night, and I hope you all aren't going too stir crazy.